Hey everyone, we are currently living through a trust recession, especially in the online space. People aren't just skeptical, they're exhausted. And if you're trying to market your business without absolute brand clarity, you aren't just losing sales, you're deepening that hole of distrust. Today, I'm joined by Sarah Gemmell, a psychology led marketing expert who helps leaders build consistent business flow by understanding how humans actually buy. We're discussing why our marketing feels like a struggle and how to fix the disconnect between what you say and what your audience hears. And I know that these conversations, they have such tactical shifts. I've made sure you won't lose the best parts. I've just launched my Think Brand Talk Brand newsletter to give you the strategy blueprint from episodes like these and much more bigger deep dives on brands for my female founders. And I turn them into clear, actionable steps for your brand every week. Listen to this masterclass with Sarah right now and then grab the link from the newsletter from the show notes. Sarah, welcome to the show. But all right, Sarah, I really want to know your hot take on customers or clients or founders who come to you and say, hey, my brand is all sorted. Sarah, let's hit the market. What's my marketing strategy? Let's go for it. So, what's your hot take on that?
Okay, we're getting right into it, aren't we? Like the interesting thing about people who come to me with branding a hot take is that like a lot of clients, founders think that the brand is like this is what I need to sell. If I have my brand, I can sell. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like great, but now we need to take that brand and turn it into marketing, right? Or
Yeah.
vice versa. You think you have the brand, we're ready to market, but it's like the brand, quote unquote, is just colors and fonts. Right? Like there's usually like we're so checklist oriented. We're like brand, check,
Check.
logo, check. And now it's like, Sarah, just tell me what to post. Like, tell me what content to create. And it's like, well, I don't know any of the branding. Like, when we onboard a done for you client,
Mm-hmm.
say like, what's the brand voice? Send me the branding information. Like, what kind of stuff do we say? What do we not say?
Say,
Right?
exactly.
And the amount of times, I think I've only had one client onboarded that could send me all that stuff, no hesitation, in full detail. Like there's very often these pieces missing. So you understand your brand, you understand how you talk, what
Mm-hmm.
resonates with your people, who you're talking to, but you're not able to like translate it to the person that you're hiring for help.
Yes.
And it's like the brand is so much more than the colors and the fonts, but you
Yeah.
also have to be able to articulate it to other people because I can't give you messaging strategy, content ideas, market here, market there, because I don't understand the brand, right? It's
Brand.
like
Yeah.
we need to really dive into these things where most marketing people will be like, post on Instagram 5 times a day.
They.
Right? Like, I will not give someone advice if I don't understand their business model because the advice doesn't mean anything if I don't
Anything.
understand the business model, right? So,
This is music to my ears from like, I can't tell you how happy I feel when I hear this because I always ask a founder who's come to me and I say, like who just wants this kind of work, right? Like straight to your kind of domain.
yeah.
What's my marketing strategy? I will often ask them, what's your goal? So, oh, in an ideal world, I want my product to be viral. I said, okay, great. So you want virality. That's your goal. And are you an influencer or do you have stuff to sell, like either service or product? Like who are you? No, no,
Yeah.
I have service to sell or I have product to sell. I said, okay, so how about the virality? Let's take it out for a minute and think about the fact that you've gone viral. There are these dozen and hundreds and millions of people coming to your page and like what is there to for you to offer to them?
Yeah.
You've lost that moment of virality to a background where nothing makes sense to the audience now who's flowing in. Yes, they liked you for X reason that they're on your profile, but there's nothing that can you can take them from there. So that's called strategy. That's the place where you are actually building something so you can use this moment to your advantage. And in your lifetime, if this moment doesn't even come in ever, you still are good. You still are functioning with so much that is available to you,
Yeah.
and that's a moment the the shiny object kind of goes away from the picture, and then
Yeah.
people start talking about, okay, so then what does it take? So I really want to hear from you. Like, I know that you are downstream with the, with the marketing strategy. How often is that the goal? How often are you dealing with someone wanting to go viral, or someone wanting to use, like, social media should convert for them tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
that's why I hired you. Like, I wanted to convert tomorrow and, make me go viral, or my ROI is like hitting the roof. Like, how
Yeah.
often do you get that?
I actually don't get it a lot, I'll be honest, because talk about branding and messaging and
Yeah.
all these things. I'm pretty clear in my messaging that I am not here to go
Mm.
viral, to help you go viral, to grow your audience to 1 million people. Like, in order to be a small business owner on social media, we really don't need to do crazy amounts of volume. And to be
Yes.
really honest with you, most of us couldn't handle going viral anyway. If you
Yeah.
had 100 people this week, not even today, if you just
Yeah.
had 100 people this week inquire about your services, could your system actually handle 100 people? No, right?
Yeah.
It couldn't. Most small business owners just need for the audience that they already have to have a better reason to pay them, right? It's like,
Yeah.
we don't want to be full-time content creators. We don't need to go viral. We don't need to have a huge audience. So changing the lens in which you
Mm.
look at social media. Social media is a tool to move people from discovering you to paying you. And that is it, right?
Yes.
Like, trending audios play a role, right? And,
Yeah.
reels versus carousels, and you got to play the game to a certain extent.
Yes.
But you don't need to even post 5 days a week. A lot of my clients are posting 3. And we're
Yeah.
not looking for these like crazy high volumes. Now, when they do go, I just had a client get 45,000 views on a trial reel.
Yeah.
That's great,
That's good.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so wonderful. It's like this cool win. And it was a reel that I had mapped out for her. She's a done with you client. So I send her the
Hmm.
audio, I send her the idea, she creates it, and she comes back. She's like, Sarah, 45K.
Okay.
And as a trial reel, so followers are coming in and all these things. That's so great. And that's an awesome win. But we don't need to do that every single time we post,
Exactly.
right? And it's like, now you pull in, you got 45,000 views. Those views don't mean shit
Yeah.
if they're not going anywhere, right? So now
Exactly.
I think she got, I'll have to ask her about this. I want to say it was between like 40 and 60 new followers.
Okay.
For most of us, that is great. And you know why 40 to 60 is great is because those are targeted followers. They made the conscientious decision to see your trial
Mm.
reel and come follow you from it. So that makes them most likely within the target market. And
Mm-hmm.
then I like to teach a system where we reach out to new followers on Instagram,
Okay.
just saying like, hey, thanks so much for the follow, an
Right.
introduction, no pitch,
Yes.
just saying hi, introducing who you are, reminding them what you're good at, what your zone of genius is. You can
Yeah.
invite them into like a free offer or something like
Offer.
that, but it
Mm-hmm.
starts the conversation, right? So now you don't need to go viral. You just need a couple of genuine heartbeats that fall within your target market, finding you every week. You start the conversation and you go from there.
Yeah, and this is just the perfect way of doing business in today's time, where things can be very overwhelming when it comes to so many platforms, so many ways
Yeah.
of doing X, and
Yeah.
everyone's wanting to optimize for the best possible combination of things, right? Like the matrix
Yep.
needs to work with the best possible combination, and somewhere we're forgetting why we are doing this, right? And the fact that you said that, yes, you do you have the capacity to handle 100 clients? Like, do you have the capacity to, and especially as a service provider, right? Because as a service provider, you are probably so much in trenches with your client, and you are not like, it's not like a SaaS or an AI tool that you hand over and then you can just kind of like, move on.
Yep. Yep.
That you can't handle that kind of volume. And this overwhelm is coming from, I feel this overwhelm is coming from this entire narrative where, I made $1 million business in 2 years with 2 kids under two. I can do it, you can do it. I
Yeah.
I am finding this kind of content so much like advertised to me, and
Yeah.
similarly, I'm sure it's getting advertised to so many people that
Yeah.
they're missing out on variables that no one's speaking about of however they and a like we were talking earlier, I think some weeks ago about the trust recession,
Yep.
because it's easy for me to also start advertising saying that I made $1 million business with, I have a son, but one, like,
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want, but like, who's
Yeah.
really looking at the receipts here?
Yeah.
But I think that's what is getting people are getting fixated on about this whole six figure, seven figure, eight figure, nine figure that people are apparently making in a year, and then you can do it to follow my course or
Yeah.
follow my steps. So this separation from understanding your business need, your business requirement, your brand, who you stand for, who you are, what impact you create, like, unless you are working on that constantly. And a lot of times I feel like people think brand strategy is step one, done, put it on a shelf and like move on. Like, let's go to the market. Even if you do brand strategy, it's like a book somewhere getting like dust on it right now, right?
Yep. Yep.
So it's not getting integrated, and that's why this clarity on your brand foundation, to then chasing it with like integrating it with marketing, and then kind of going to the market with the understanding of who you are, what you impact you create, is totally like it's missing from the market. And I don't know how to fill this gap, like with this barrage of advertisement on your face telling you women can do it all, and the empowerment movement is so strong right now.
Yeah.
I fear it's being misunderstood. What do you think about it?
About with the trust recession a couple of weeks ago, people are now wanting to see that context. So when you're saying you made $1 million in 2 months with all these kids, there's this major gap of context, right? So like, did you have a spouse that made money while you weren't? Did you have childcare? Did you work 24/7? Did you have an audience when this 2 month period started? Right?
Yeah.
What were these other variables that were included?
Yeah.
Like, I even think about people who are like, oh, well, I sell without a landing page. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. And it sounds flashy, it sounds fun. But selling without a landing page now means that you're doing a lot of manual selling. It's a lot more time. I have one girl who is not in my orbit anymore, but when I used to consume her content, where it'd be like, I make $100,000 a month and
Mm-hmm.
I only sell in the DMs. I don't have to do any sales calls.
Yeah.
That sounds flashy. It sounds cool. It sounds amazing. Like, oh, I hate sales calls. I don't want to get on them. But then you
Yeah.
don't realize that I know for a fact that that girl is in her DMs
Before buy
24/7.
sells. Agreed.
24/7. She is on her phone. I've been
Yes.
around her in real life. I know for a fact that's how she is. I've seen it. So there's
Yes.
that context missing. Yes, you don't have to do a sales call, but that means you're trading it to
Mm-hmm.
be in your DMs 24/7. I would much rather be on a 1 hour sales call than being on my phone all day, every day, just to answer all these people. Like, let's just get on a call and freaking talk about it.
There you
Let's just be
go.
done.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Because you have a
You
life to
know?
live. You have a life to live.
Right. And there's all this context. Like if you start selling something and you already had an audience of 10,000 people that knew
Mm-hmm.
you, liked you, and trust you, and you just added an offer, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
just overnight make all this money. Let's talk about how long it took you to build an audience.
There you go.
Like right. And the people who grew organically on, well, specifically talk about Instagram, but it could even apply to TikTok. When you grew organically on that platform, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how you grew is completely obsolete.
Yeah,
Completely obsolete. What you did in 2017 to get to 50,000 followers on Instagram is not doing shit for anyone anymore. Same thing on TikTok. When TikTok first came out, you could do any old thing you wanted to on TikTok and you
hmm,
could build an audience doing it, right? And it's like the
yeah,
platforms are not the same. So now I need context. When you say that you built your following to 1 million people in 2 months, you're leaving out the fact that you did it when the platform looked very different.
exactly. You
And
know,
that's a key piece. And then you're also selling these outdated ass strategies. Like
yeah,
they don't work anymore, you know?
I agree with you, and I would say that uh, not to say that I am like holier than thou and, like sitting on some platform where I have not fallen for this. I have fallen for this too. It's just like, I know that people go through vulnerable situations where they think that their higher self like is this, and they must do whatever it takes to get there. We've all been there.
Yep.
We've all gone through that path and then seen this kind of flashy whatever X narrative that's there, and like, okay, yeah, I want that, I can do that too. And then when you get in there, the basics that they are like peddling is like unbelievable, that this is what you are telling me to do right now. Like, I can't tell you that I wasted a huge sum of money on someone who was like, we can create anything, and your business is going to bloom in the next 6 months. And you know
Yep.
what the strategy was? I'm sorry, obviously I'm not telling who it is, but it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
cold DM on LinkedIn. That's the strategy, right? Like that's how
Oh,
you
great. Groundbreaking. Thank you so much.
groundbreaking. Exactly. Like, and that's you know, I'm like, what a fool am I to have fallen for this? Like, now I don't even blame this person. Maybe this is a great salesman or salesperson who kind of sold this to me. Like, kudos to you, but this is how vulnerable our clients and our customers are today, that you would pay hard-earned money to people who probably are not the right fit.
Yeah.
So I really want to know from you, Sarah, that when you are, say, you've gone on to, a sales pitch or a sales call, how do you know this is the fit for you, and how do you know that you are a fit for them? Because this disconnect of expectations is something that is almost like, people are going back to their corporate jobs because like it's not working.
Yeah.
No one wants this work because everyone wants the flashy situation.
Yeah.
So what are the few things that you look at when you are wanting to work with someone, or like what they should know when they have to work with you? What are the few things?
But I think the most important thing is like we have all made poor investment decisions in our business. And this is where the market has made a big shift because
Mm.
I've been in the same position as you. A lot of people, their marketing and their sales are far better than the delivery of the program. They overpromise and underdeliver.
Undeliver.
Yeah, and it unfortunately is what it is. It's not ethical, it's not always fair. But what it's important to remember, there's kind of two pieces to this. When you make a poor investment, really learning from it and figuring
Mm.
out why did I buy into this in the first place? And then what was the thing that was really misaligned? So like
Mhm.
I thought this is a great example. I'll give you a personal example. I
Amazing.
thought Voxer sounded
Mhm.
so cool. And I was like, perfect. I signed up for a Voxer program. Whoa, I fucking hate Voxer. Okay.
Yes, me too.
Like
What is it?
why? And it wasn't, this is a great example of something that wasn't the person saw, it was totally about me. But now I know that I invested in this thing. I learned that Voxer is not for me. So now I look and I use discernment and I say, if Voxer is the primary avenue of communication, I'm automatically out.
Out.
I know that me as a consumer, this is the type of support I need. I like to verbally work through things. I don't want another group chat. I don't want a Slack channel. I don't want email support. I don't want Voxer. I had to learn that about myself, right? And I also
Mm.
know I'm not going to watch the replay of a masterclass. So if I can't attend live, I'm not buying replay access.
Exactly.
So we have to learn these things about ourselves. And then there's this other piece where we have to remember because we are also marketing and selling our own products and services, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that our audience is also going through the same thing where they have made poor investment decisions. They had this, they were promised all these things in the marketing. They paid their hard-earned money and they didn't get what they were promised.
Yeah.
So now they are using more discernment when they are looking at your content before they ever book the sales call, before they ever get to the landing page, before they ever raise their hand to say they're interested. Your
Yes.
audience is also using so much more discernment. They want to really know what is it that I'm going to get when I pay you? What are you good at? does this actually work for people? We have to
Mm-hmm.
remember the psychology of all this stuff, right? What
Yes.
has happened in the market, all the entrepreneurs who are in business like early 2020s, they did really well just by showing up,
Yeah.
right? And then 2023, we started, it was still pretty good, but we started to, at the end of 2023, see this shift. And then
Mm-hmm.
2024 took a big portion of entrepreneurs out. A large
Yes.
portion of entrepreneurs did not make it past 2024.
I agree
So
with you.
then,
I know that.
right?
Yeah.
You saw it too, right? And then in
Yes.
2025, it was a rebuild phase of like, what the hell happened in 2024? We
Yeah.
have to now figure out 2025. And now going into 2026, it's get it. Now we're in this new market.
Yeah.
We already went through the growing pains. We already know the shift has happened. Now, how do we move forward with that information? So
Mm.
looking at the psychology of buyer behavior, because the buyer behavior has changed,
It has.
right? So
Yes.
when you're making that buying decision, ask yourself what you're looking at. Like, I want to
Mm.
know, so not just social proof through like texts or whatever. I want to see like case studies. I want to see video
Mm.
testimonials. I want to see like real time, even if it's like something more one-on-one, can I talk to a previous client of yours? Or
Yeah.
typically, I'm not buying from someone who I have no level of connection to. So I can kind of go to my circle of, referral partners and say, hey, have you worked with this person before? What did you
Yeah.
think? Were you happy with it? Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I also know the questions to ask and the deliverables to look for. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can do most of that research on my own. And then I take that and I say, okay, if I'm doing that when I'm buying, how can I add more social proof to my landing pages and my social media, right? How can I add more thought leadership? How can I add
Yes.
more of my expertise and my credibility? How can I add more information about deliverables? Because I know that's what I'm doing. Now, there's
Yeah.
multiple buyer types,
Yes.
but you can start there with how you would do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, yeah, and you just have to like, in today's world, the business owners who want to push and push and push will not survive. They will not
Yes.
survive. We're moving now into a space, into a market where people want the time to really consider their options. And the
Mm.
people who are telling them, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Buy right now. Buy on
Buy
the
right now,
call.
yeah. Like, workshop, and at the end, like, buy now. Like, you attended something for an hour to actually be pushed into, you know,
Yeah.
the free workshop is pushed you into now, like, buy now because it's 50% off and you won't get that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, use the incentive, right? Incentivize people to buy now if it feels good to them, because you do have your impulsive buyer type where it feels
Yeah.
good to them right now. They're going to act quickly, they're going to impulse, or they came into the free workshop knowing they wanted to work with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, right. So, incentivize it.
Incentivize,
But
yeah.
this idea of like, shaming people for wanting to
Mm.
consider it and like, oh, well, these are just excuses and you're going to lose momentum and you're going to
Yeah.
spare me,
Spare
like
me.
spare me. I actually just got off a sales call right before you and I got on. Just got off a sales call. And she's
Yeah.
like, Sarah, she's
Okay.
like, in just complete transparency, she's like, I do not have the money to give you right now. She's like, but I would
Yeah.
have it by the end of the month. And
Okay.
she's like, you can, if that's not going to work for you, if this offer is going to end, I totally understand. I said, girl, I am not here to give you some kind of fake urgency
Yeah.
to push you into a buying decision. I do not want you choosing between me and your light bill. That is never a position I want to put my clients in. And that
Yeah.
was that was what she was telling me.
Oh
And I
my
said,
gosh.
like there's ways that we can work through this on a sales call, and there's sales strategies and things like this, but there's
Yeah.
also ethics and talk about branding. What is the brand? The
Yeah.
brand is authentic. The brand is people above profit. And if you're telling me that it's between me and your light bill and we can talk at the end of the month, guess what? Then we can talk at the end of the
End of the
month. It's
month.
okay.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my gosh.
that and that.
So many things. So many things here.
Yes. Yeah.
I, two things. One, I want to kind of debunk this idea that anyone is selling you anything unique or unheard of, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea that, what I have in my course is going to change your life because I have something which others don't. Like, I want to debunk this idea that absolutely no one is giving you something that didn't exist. Okay. We are working with people for higher degree of accountability, for their expertise because they have been there before you. So they know the 10 steps you can skip so that you are there faster.
Mhm.
So accountability and speed is what you are kind of looking at when you are
Yeah.
working with everyone. Can do DIY today. There's Claude, there's
Yeah.
ChatGPT, there's everything available to you. You don't need anyone if you think you can do it all, right? Like, I think that is part of the trust recession is further increasing because what are you going
Yeah.
to tell me that ChatGPT cannot tell me, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the idea that we as a brand strategist and a marketing strategist go out there and say we've got something that no one else has, like, I think that is the biggest lie that anyone can peddle to you right now. So that's number one. I think at number two, the fact what you just mentioned, I loved it, right? The shaming and the fake urgency that is being
Hmm.
created. Like, okay, yes, I'm incentivizing you for X, and yes, this is not going to go on forever. This is what the time period it goes on for, and
Yep.
then we do
Yeah.
other things. That option is available to you, and that's it. I have been
Exactly.
on I've been on calls, again, the path of buying poor investments, where some this one I'm proud of because I walked away. Someone said that, oh yeah, like $10,000, like what? You won't have food in your house if you invested in this money. I cannot tell you the amount of anger I
Yikes.
had. Can you believe that? And this is a woman, okay? This is a woman selling me some kind of a course on, like GLP-1 or whatever. And
Yeah.
she just told me, like, $10,000. Do you think that the food in your house would be, a problem? Like, I literally quit that call. I wanted to end it on her face. I was like, this is not the kind of conversation I want to
No.
have with anyone, including, forget a
Yeah.
stranger, like, anyone, like even my.
And you also don't know who you're talking to because what if my answer is yes?
Yes, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this, so the narrative of I have something that no one else has is a lie. And secondly,
Yeah.
fake urgency is a manipulation that as human beings we learn with time, and we learn with our own the way we have our own life
Yeah.
journey, our experience, our wiseness. So that's why when you meet people who don't push things on you, I think that in itself is a tell. That in itself is a tell on the confidence, on the degree of trust that you can place on this person. Amazing that you've said these things for, I think, clients. And I also think that clients who understand this are the ones even I want to work with, right? Like, even I want to work with the ones who are honest about the fact that, hey, I can't afford this right now, but maybe down the line.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, this is the part where I want you to, like, also throw a light on that. We are not in the business of you can't pay me, buy. Like, what about relationship building? What about
Yeah.
how do you think, especially young entrepreneurs who are coming in, who have a very black and white understanding of business? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working since 2006, right? Like, this is
Yep.
20th year of my work. I know over the 2 decades I've worked how relationships are built without immediate ROI, right? Like, without
Yeah.
immediate understanding. And then some relationships have gone into collaboration, have gone
Yeah.
into, that they vouch for me in other places. So I think this is a part of our business storytelling that's missing, which is about relationship development. So
Yeah.
how do you see this piece going forward? Because the space is becoming more and more competitive rather than being collaborative. So do
Yeah.
you see that in your orbit as well?
I do a little bit. I think I'm definitely more on the collaborative side of the internet, right?
Yeah.
But I am still very much exposed to industries or people or groups of people who are very innately competitive. So it is kind of
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see like such polar opposites in my world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing, I say this all the time with relationships, networking, right? They both
Yeah.
apply. we have to have a much bigger picture thinking when it comes to relationships. When you have this small-minded thinking of who's going to buy from me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It really it kind of creates the opportunity to miss opportunities,
Oh,
right?
love that.
Right.
Love
It's
that.
like if you expand your thinking
Mm.
to outside of sales, right? Can we collaborate on something? Can we refer to each other? Can you invite me to a different event? Like there's
Yeah.
so many other ways that relationships can flourish and bloom and turn into something that
Mm.
is beneficial
Mm.
that may not be a transaction or a sale right this second. It might be a referral to a sale 6, 12 months from now. It
Exactly.
might even be a great example. One of my really great friends in business, her and I met
Mm-hmm.
2023 or 2022, who even knows, in San Diego. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was the brand photographer at this event. She does the free headshots, so I get my headshots. That's how we connected. We kind of
Okay.
like stayed in the same world for a little bit. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and I'm like, hey, like you
Mm.
and I really vibe on some different levels here. Like, do you just want to be like co-working buddies, mastermind buddies? Like, I really just like want a friend that we
Yeah.
can have these like high level conversations. That's how this relationship between her and I grew. And that is so beneficial to both of us. And now we also innately refer business back and forth to each other,
There you go.
right? Like she has passed me clients, I'm bringing her in on a client project. So it might just be having a friend. It
Mm.
might be a podcast interview like this one. It might be even just saying, hey, there's this really great networking group that I go to. Like, do you want to come with me?
Yeah.
Because that invitation to that room could land you a client,
Clients. Exactly.
right? So when you expand the way that you think about relationships, but also expand the way that you show up
Mm-hmm.
in this area of like everyone says show up and give value.
Yeah.
That has been convoluted now where people are giving value, but they're still secretly trying to sell.
Mm.
Like giving value
100%.
is, yeah, like, okay, perfect example is like if I came to you after this podcast and I'm like giving you value of like, hey, here's my marketing audit. My
Yeah.
marketing audit is a sales funnel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like me offering you the marketing audit isn't me doing you a favor. It's me thinking I'm being sneaky trying to sell you.
Yeah.
But if I say, if instead of like showing up and giving value, saying, hey, how can I really support the podcast for you?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I would love a review. And I'm like, great. I go on the podcast, I leave a review. That is me showing up and giving value in a way that does absolutely nothing for me. And that is the key is showing up and giving value that is not sneaky trying to sell something.
Yeah.
It's like this person literally just needed this thing and I was able to give it to them.
Yeah. And
So
just
even
imagine what kind of a, effect that has on someone's psychology. Because it's like, this person showed up just as a human being for me, just as a
Yep.
person. Like
Yep.
that part that someone showing up just as a person is so hard to get. And I know that we are all in this transactional way of being because who has the time for anything, but I also think that is again coming from your own idea about your brand, that your brand is here to, as you said, profit over people, right? Like that's what you.
Yeah.
And I have worked in those environments where it's very clear that, see, I don't care about what brand is, I want leads, and that's it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, sir, you haven't existed on the face of internet and you want leads from the internet. Like, to have these conversations with people is like, why should someone trust you on the internet? Like, think about that side. You are so black and white and binary in your decision making of what you want. You
Yeah.
haven't even put yourself in the other side and saying, why should they be giving you any leads? Like, right? So,
Yeah.
being a person on the internet today, I think is most needed than anything else, you know,
Yeah.
because it feels like I go back to it, but it feels overwhelming now to be part of this space because it just feels like everyone else is out there to get you. So, in the meanwhile, if someone's listening and they are building something, I would say that start figuring out these people in your space who are just people, right? And
Yeah.
how can they lean on you and how can you lean on them for things that may not seem in immediate transaction, but like it's just support. And how can you show up for them just that way rather than, thinking that what is my next best way to, squeeze something out of this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. And one of my little tricks is I always have these like go-to ways that I can support people. So like sharing something on my Instagram story for me is a big ask. Like I have a
Mm,
whole strategy to my Instagram stories. Like that's just a big ask. But if someone says, "Hey, can you share this to your Instagram stories?" I'll say my Instagram stories are a little over, they're
mm,
oversaturated right now, but I would love to share it on this platform or instead. Or I
mm-hmm,
can connect you to this person. Like I know in my head how I can show up for people. I just have like a little list. I can
mm-hmm.
share it in my Facebook group. I can
Okay.
do an email swap. We can do, I can introduce you to someone who has a networking event, or there's all these things that I
Things.
can do, or even just like who are you looking to get connected to that's not a client. So
Mm.
if you said to me, I really want a podcast guest that teaches how to train your dog, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, who do I know that trains dogs? And I can introduce people to other people, and that is in
Mm.
of itself very valuable, right?
It
Like
is. It is.
if I went to an in-person event and I meet someone and I say, like, who are you really looking to get connected to? And they're like, oh, I would really love to meet someone who designs websites. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I just met a website designer. Like, have you met, so and so yet? That is a great way to support people. But like, I
Mm.
already know that. That's part of like my strategy when it comes to networking is I
Mm.
know how I can show up and give value. So
Mm.
that helps take a lot of the
Yes.
pressure off, and it helps for me to show up really intentionally.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because sometimes people get really hung up on like, I don't have that many people in my audience. I don't know if I would know your ideal client. That's okay. That's not a requirement to
Yeah.
network with me.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement. It's it's not about how many people you directly know for a direct paying client.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that people can support each other. I wish more people really thought about that, right? Like
I
if
love
I
that.
what was the one I just sent someone I just sent someone an intro to something. And it's like, it's just a resource. You literally just told me that you needed this help. I have this resource over here that I've been using. If you want it, you can check it out.
Yeah.
Same thing with like, oh, I'm looking to go to networking. Oh, great. I just went to this networking event over here, or I'm going to go to this event next week. Do you want to go with me?
Yeah.
That is so helpful to people. We really downplay how much that means to people.
I love this so much, Sarah. I actually want to ask you like this. I think there's a vibe of generosity that you are like beaming with. Where does it come from? Tell me.
Where does it come from? I feel like it's just kind of who I am. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
probably just chalked up to personality, to be honest with you. But I grew my business, when I was in fitness, I grew my fitness business to a global fitness company. We were making five figures consistently. I had a team of
Wow.
12. Yeah, I mean, we were doing really great. It was a great company, and a lot of that was attributed to networking. And it wasn't just
Mm.
because I was showing up to networking. I had a very clear strategy on how I showed up to networking. But
Right.
no matter what my strategy is, no matter what I'm doing, I am always me. I
Yeah.
am always me, fully, authentically, unapologetically. My husband says all the time, he's like, you are just literally you, no matter what room you walk into. And that allows for people to build trust with you quicker, but it's also having this like transparency with people. They like that. Like, so even
Mm.
saying, like, hey, listen, like, I'm networking to make money. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not. I'm just not here to sell you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sell you, but like, I mean, if you need help, let me know. But like, I hate when people say, well, I'm not here to make money. That automatically makes me not trust you because what do you
Yes.
mean you run a business and you don't need to make money?
Money, like, what do you mean?
Right. Right. And I
Exactly.
automatically don't trust you because it's a lie.
It's
Like
a
you just
lie.
lied to me.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not here to
so
make
true.
money.
That's
Yeah,
so true. Yeah.
but you are here to make money. I'm like, so it's just a hobby? Like you don't
It's-
need to pay bills? You don't have any overhead? Like,
No, I love that. And so This is amazing because what I feel is your brand and your business is a reflection of who you are,
Yeah.
right? And so sometimes when I'm even starting brand work with someone, I give them prompts and I do actually want to know how much they kind of work on themselves. Like, this
Yeah.
this entire um is there something in their world which helps them ground them, which helps them look inwards? Because
Yeah.
you cannot create an impactful, timeless brand that will outlive you, that will inspire the next generation of
Yeah.
women, if you are going to be that kind of person who's like, I know it all. I don't need to, like, do anything. Now tell me what's the brand strategy. I said,
Yeah.
it's unfortunately we can still make a brand strategy for you, no problem. But
Yeah.
if this is not your goal, if you don't want to be in this space where as a person, the reflection that you are doing on yourself will not come through. It will not
Yeah.
come through, and we will do a surface level strategic work for you if you're okay. I literally have this conversation in my first starting point.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I through my brand strategy process, I'm going to be sharing prompts with you, and I want to hear the next session. How did you feel about it? It's like
Yeah.
literally if I'm doing the week is about competitive advantage and differentiator and market research. Before we do that, I've sent you prompts about how do you feel about competition. Tell me something that you felt insecure about. So it's like
Yeah.
literally walking that path so that when you are really building, this is something that is going to be with you for the next 5 to 10 years. Yes, you're going to revise your brand, you're going to revise, but for the next 5 to 10 years, despite all the trends, despite everything else, will this stick?
Yep.
Will an AI take you out? Will the
Yep.
next platform that comes up will take you out? That's why we are doing this work together.
Yeah.
So I know we've run out of time, but I think I can yap with you forever.
Yeah. We can literally just keep going.
Let's just keep going. Yeah. I
This
am
was
so thankful.
great.
I'm so thankful for you showing up with such generosity, showing up with such light and such I think there's an easiness with the way you operate. Like I can already sense it.
Thank you.
There's an ease with which you operate, which I think that's why that's so important when you're working with someone because you don't feel like they are going to be a hurdle for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 That they
I
are going to stand
appreciate
in my
that.
way to do what I because they already have this personality of you must, you know. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I am so grateful. Thank you so much for showing up the way you did today. I
Of
cannot tell you how
course.
happy it makes my heart.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yay.